3. Capitalize on key moments with customers based on relevant events and behaviors. And so we've talked about personalizing individual emails based on what we know about the segment or the customer. There's a great opportunity that marketers have to be able to kind of recognize some of these moments in their journey with a customer that could be really valuable opportunities to be able to send very well-timed and relevant communication at different steps along the way. So it could be a welcome sequence, behavioral action, milestone recognition, contextual alert, a re-engagement campaign. I'm going to go through each one of those 5 different areas and provide examples to illustrate the opportunity that a lot of marketers are taking advantage of today. The first one is a welcome message, and these are triggered once somebody actually signs up for a program. And a lot of times this is a real missed opportunity for a lot of organizations. You think about things that you've signed up for where the only thing that you've received immediately afterwards might be an email that asks you to confirm your subscription. And so this is a missed opportunity because it's a great moment of truth in some ways. Customers are reluctant in some ways to be able to kind of sign up for new things and opt in to receive information. You want to be able to validate that they've made the right decision and show value right away. And so a couple of examples here to illustrate the point. Airbnb does a nice job of kind of explaining and setting expectations of onboarding someone into the service. And so after you sign up, you get a series of emails to be able to orient you to unlocking the value that Airbnb might provide, both as somebody that has a property to rent, as well as somebody that might be looking to rent a property. And then Michael's here is a good example of just showcasing value. And so it's a surprise and delight tactic that as soon as somebody signs up, they immediately get an offer. And so what better way to be able to recognize the trust that this customer is putting in you with their data and opt-in to be able to reward that right off the bat. Another area of opportunity is around behavior and recognizing some of those behaviors that a customer might take, some actions that could trigger a really relevant response and a great marketing opportunity. And so this doesn't have to be an action that someone's taken in email to send an email. It can be an action that they've taken in another channel. And so these are examples of when someone's taken an action on a website, in this case, leaving something that is in their cart, it can trigger an email to that particular customer to try to get them to come back. And so it's worth thinking about what are some of those other moments or signals of intent that you can identify that could be great triggers to send relevant communication within ATB. Another area of opportunity is around milestones, celebrating achievements in a relationship to deepen engagement. And these can be really dependent on the nature of the relationship that you have with the customer and the nature of the service and the program that you're offering. And so you see this with services that are frequently used by customers, whether that's like a Spotify music service or in this case, a Jawbone fitness app where they're kind of playing back your usage data in a really relevant way. So that could be, a weekly summary of your activity, or in the case of Spotify, it could be an annual review of what you've listened to. But there could be other moments that are really worth celebrating in your relationship with a customer. So in this example, it's a JetBlue, an anniversary of when you first either signed up for the program or took, in this case, your first flight. And so this could happen on birthdays, it could happen on other milestones that you think could provide, really kind of relevant opportunities to be able to send emails. These are real nice quick wins to be able to execute through direct channels between a brand and a customer. And more context is another area that you're starting to see triggered emails and messages being sent. And what we mean by context are, events and information and news that might be happening that are really relevant to a segment of the customers that you're serving. And so this might be, in the case of Uber, surge pricing has dropped. In the case of Netflix, a new show's just been now announced that really meets my particular preferences. In other retail stores, it could be, when new inventory comes in, or where they might have an event that they want to be able to invite people to. So real, almost news alerts that are really interesting for a particular segment of your customers. When they're timely, they can be really, really appreciated and drive action and satisfaction for people that you're communicating with. And re-engagement. And so one of the challenges of operating a direct program is that at the end of the year, about 20% of everybody within the database can start to what they call decay. And what's meant by that is they perhaps have moved, changed email addresses, changed contact information. And so one of the things that you need to do, which we hit on lightly a little bit earlier, is to continue to engage people to review their data, to understand if it's up to date and potentially ask for more. The other part of it is to kind of watch for moments when your customers or segments of customers start to lose engagement and opening or clicking through your communication with them. And so this is in some ways not a behavioral trigger, but a lack of behavior trigger. And there's some great examples of customers that have won back and re-engaged their customers through tactics like reminding them of what they may have missed since they last opened an email, providing them with a win-back offer, or just providing some creative messaging to be able to remind them that they really appreciate your attention that they've been providing through reading a lot of these emails. So it's a great triggered email to have to a segment of your audience once they have not opened or responded to any communication over a period of time. And the other important part of this is once you've run these campaigns and somebody hasn't responded, that you can then kind of archive those that are just not responsive, that can be in an inactive segment, and you can stop communicating with them because they clearly haven't shown interest and they start to skew a lot of your performance numbers when you're sending emails. If there's a certain segment that's just inactive, even after a re-engagement campaign, you typically archive those.